Okay, welcome everyone. Glad you stopped by today. Today we have our Season 4 Mage build for the Necromancer. I know Mage, Necromancer is funny. But we're using only mages. We in fact actually sacrifice the golem in this build. I know people are saying it's really powerful. It is really powerful. I've seen some of the videos for myself, but I tend to like the mages. They like to let me play at range, and if it's more up your alley, this will definitely help you get on the right track for that. It's a little self-explanatory. The affixes are really easy to understand. So without further ado, I'll go over everything that's in my page. I will put this link in the description for you guys, so you can just one-click it if you do want to copy anything that we have here for you. So just a quick thing overview. Helmet, protecting aspect. This can be overridden by having the Harlequin Crest. If you have this, just equip this, the 20% damage reduction is great. Heart and Bones is for our defense. Unyielding Commanders is going to be where we get our damage from Army of the Dead. Occult and Minion, more mages and warriors. Bloodgetters aspect for more damage. We are empowering ourselves, which then in turn gives it back to the mages, which is awesome. Reanimation just for more base damage for them. I'm still torn on if Frenzy Dead should go here or not. I know I've seen a lot of Frenzy Deads going here. I'm not 100% sure. Swapping these two aspects yielded very little results when I was looking at it. But you may want Frenzy Dead here if it suits you better. These two are interchangeable if you want. But then we have Blighted Aspect for more damage when we have our Shadow Blade Key passive 10 times, which I will go over how the combo works if you want to do insane big damage. Frenzy Dead, they gain attack speed. Grasping Veins, going to group everything together for us through our Corpse Tendrils, as well as give us 25% crit chance and 50% critical strike damage, which is just an insane multiplier. We're taking the spawn corpses. I think you get both of these right now. Just make sure you just toggle them on and off, just to make sure they're both readied up. But I think it's bugged right now where you get both of them. But otherwise, if they do fix that, we are taking the corpses. We do get cooldown reduction from our Decrepify, so that's fine. We are taking Shadow Mages with increased damage because, again, we get the damage, which then passes them back on to the Mages, which is amazing. And then we're sacrificing the Iron Golem for 30% multiplicative crit damage. So some of these modifiers here, I just have where you would like all of them to go into. Again, even this one is subject to, you could just one anywhere. But essentially, you want to get them in the one I have specified. If you don't get it in the one I have specified, it is okay. Just make sure you're going for things like Skeletal Mage or Ranks the Skeletal Mage. Ranks the Skeletal Mage and Ranks the Helmet Commander are going to be insane damage boost because you don't just get a small 15%. What this does is it gives you even more multiplicative based on your base values of your Skeletal Mages. So getting these ranks are insanely important, and I got extremely lucky to have these pants with +6. So, do your best to get it. It does take some time and money. Money being gold, of course. But that pretty much sums up this. One thing to point out, which I have written in the notes for a reference at any point, is any type of skull or diamond in your jewelry. This will just be based on your current gear. Which do you need? Do you need more armor to reach the armor cap, or do you need more resistance to get the resistance cap? That's really all that goes over. The skill tree is pretty self-explanatory. I don't have the leveling path set up, unfortunately. This is a very base thing. You can't really remove a point. When you remove a point, it just says to remove a point, but it doesn't always mean that you want to remove a point. It's pretty standard. If you do get Harlequin Crest, you can remove some points out of Decrepify and put them in here for when you CC things. It is pretty good damage. Anything else? The only other thing, again, if you need more armor, this is a multiplicative armor scaler. So you can always remove your points from move speed and give yourself some more armor if you are not reaching the armor cap. But reaching the armor cap is crucial. That's one thing to point out. Which again, I have written in these notes, very detailed notes where you even got pros and cons in there. And then Paragon board. Paragon board, we are using every Paragon board except for one, believe it or not. And we're getting the bonuses of all of these glyphs. It is quite a trek. So the Paragon board, you're going to want to start here. I wouldn't focus too hard on getting these glyphs like right off rip, like to the point where they're getting the extra bonuses while you are leveling. But once you get closer to 100, it might be worth coming back and grabbing some of these and leaving off like these last few boards until these other ones are fully fleshed out. And the only exception to that is this Skeletal Mage one, which not here for some reason. The Skeletal Mage one is insanely important because this is where we're going to get a lot of our base damage from, and then it's going to make Skeletal Mage Mastery multiply all these bonuses even further. That's why we're even going out of our way to take this extra point down here, because this is not just 8.5% damage, it's actually like 40% damage because of all the multipliers we get in this build. So essentially, just to give you a quick walkthrough, this is about the standard path up. We're taking damage instead of resistance and life. Going up the left side again for more damage. This is pretty standard for any minion build. I see a lot of people going up this alley, getting this skeletal warrior damage. I don't know if it uses less points or not, but essentially what this is allowing us to do is go waste no time and get right into our Dead Razor glyph. We want this as quickly as possible. We wanted it before, so I kind of left this the same. We might be testing with this later on to see if there's any points to be saved anywhere. But as of right now, this is what I'm going with. And we're not getting any of these extra little points here because we don't have any scales, just flat minion damage or any of these summon damage or minion damage. So essentially, we're not taking any extra points to activate this glyph. We're going here because we will be using this. We're going here because we have to. And that gives us our damage reduction as well that we're going to use for our minions. And then we take this path up, branch out just to grab this super good cult leader glyph, go up through mages, and again, everything is mandatory anyways to travel to the next point, so very, very self-explanatory. This is the Flesh Eater board, so this was Cult Leader, this is Flesh Eater. And we're going over to the right to get Flesh Eater. And then more importantly, you're going to come up here first, and you want to rush getting this mages as early as possible. This will give you the largest damage spike. So even just, I'm not joking when I say this, going straight up here, grabbing this glyph, not even activating it, going up here, missing this, going up here, and grabbing this is super crucial. If you get to a level where you can reach this one, you can put the points into this one until you get points away to fully finishing this. But essentially, between this glyph for mage and this cult leader node, these are two of your largest damage spikes that you'll get between like level 60 and 80. Besides getting like an insane gear drop that, you know, any one of those pieces and having the mass work like that are going to be insane gear drops. But coming back to the board, you'll fill out these nodes, and then you're going to go over here to get, I believe we settled on territorial. Yeah, so we'll settle on territorial here because you get the damage reduction. It's not 15% anymore, it's only 10%. You snag a little bit of armor, it's fine. Sometimes this might overcap you or not, so just be careful about that. And then we grab Scent of Death for more damage reduction. Sometimes damage, but mostly damage reduction. And branching off the right side of our cult leader board, we have Bloodbath. Bloodbath takes us down here through to grab the critical strike node of Essence. And again, taking as little detours as possible as we absolutely possibly can. We're grabbing just enough to activate it, and we're just going to keep going through. Same exact thing for Exploit here. In the bone graph, we're going to just go right down through and pick up just enough dexterity to activate it. And then we get to our Witherboard. Witherboard is going through here to finish off the rest of the dexterity. We're snagging a little cheeky shadow damage here because this will get boosted, so it's like 9% shadow damage, so it's nice. 9 or 8. I'm not 100% sure. I've only stared at the Paragon board for hours. Yeah, 9%. And we get a little extra shadow resistance. This doesn't do anything because you're capped anyways. Finishing off down here in the hulking monstrosity board for 7 out of 8 boards used and 7 glyphs fully activated. It's quite awesome. We're getting our damage reduction from our shadow mages, and we're going to get a little bit of extra shadow damage bonus for them as well. Again, I have most of these notes written out for you here. Anything that might be an outlier, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments of this video. I'll even add this video as a showcase for you. Alright, and I just want to give you an idea of how the combo works, essentially what you'll be looking for and what you'll be doing. So we'll just switch this to the boss training demo. And I'll finagle my mages so they get a little close, make sure everyone's in real nice and tight. And then we're going to wait for this to get, we're going to get 4 stacks of Flesh Eater. And we're waiting for this to get around 8 to 9 stacks, and then we're going to hit all of our buttons all at the same time. So we're making sure Decrepify's up, to make sure it lights up at all times. 8, we're going to hit all of our buttons. And now you'll have the damage going up. Seeing some 79 mils, 80 mils. And then we're just going to try to just spam our buttons. And that's the way the combo works in a nutshell. Sometimes you'll have too many buffs, sometimes it'll be very hard to see. Sometimes you can't really see, but see we're about at 8. We're hitting all of our buttons. It's both of the big buffs are up now. I'm seeing 90 mil. You know, and each one of our mage attacks are going to be hitting that hard. We have 5 mages, and it's really just a really good way to just get some damage done. If you're able to plan it out. If you're not able to plan it out, it's not an insanely big deal. I would say trying to line them up is really what you want to be going for, if you can. It's the biggest damage modifiers you'll get all added up in one. And if you're not doing that, you'll notice that if you get to like hit boss 100, you will not be doing an insane amount of damage. But really, every time you hit level 10 stacks of this blighted debuff here, you're going to be doing an insane amount of damage. It only really matters in the pit bosses. Otherwise, you're pretty much killing everything. You're going to want to do it on Uber Lilith, Uber bosses like Uber Duriel and Uber Endariel. And that's that. And the next thing I wanted to show you was the Helltide. It's not up. World boss is up in a few minutes. We'll show you a world boss skill. And then I'll just keep talking as I'm running over there. So what I'm going to show you in the Helltide is essentially this build is so insanely tanky. You can eat one of the Profane Mind Cages to make the Helltide boss mobs like 10 levels higher. So you'll be fighting level 113 mobs, and you can essentially stand still in the majority of the Helltide with how tanky this build is. So I think the macro builds get that tanky as well, but essentially you're just so insanely tanky that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what's going on. You just sit there and eat it all. You hit your buttons in that order when you're fighting that new Helltide boss. Then you're golden. The boss will die sometimes as it spawns in. It's really, really cool, really powerful. And yeah, so hopefully you guys like the video, like what's going on with the build that I have going on. I'll have another one coming out talking about my thoughts about this season, but to kind of give you a sneak peek into those thoughts. I really am having a lot of fun with like Helltide. I have a friend I play with. They're keeping me a little bit more engaged, doing some builds for them. But other than that, I do have a lot of gripes. The doom and gloom aspect is not so fantastic. Like, it's not a big deal that, you know, we're doing what we're doing. But I just, it's so insanely frustrating to deal with some of the things that you have to deal with in this game compared to other games that try to be that kind of challenging. Like, every time we talk about like a guy or girl or gamer or whoever is going in details about how a game feels for them in terms of difficulty, their skill usually doesn't matter. It's all about how they can go about accomplishing what the game is offering. And when you're not able to do that, when you're not able to like actually accomplish the goals and conquer the game, it feels really bad. But But yeah, so for this boss, as soon as it's attackable, we're gonna do tendrils, pop the corpse for 5 stacks, hit our undead army, and then we're just gonna let them go to town, and they'll just die. See, we're getting to... This is like the longest boss fight I've had. I got to 10 stacks, so the boss is just dying. Rest of my blood. But yeah, there's no other level 100 I'm the only one. And I have a full inventory, so that's fun. I don't really care about any of this stuff. Anyways, so now the Helltide should be up. Go from here to a Helltide. Perfect. And what I want to show you here is we're going to stand still without the holy bolt flask elixir. Gosh, the auto pathing had me go through a... This is another problem I have with the game. Where's my boss fight? Is it up here? Is it over here? I don't know. Keep getting off my horse. So let's eat the mind gauge. Where is this? It's over here. There it is, yeah. Okay. Alright, so we got the mind cage active. Hands off the keyboard. Drink some water. Good for you. What you're gonna do is you're going to let your minions do everything you can for you. They'll kill everything. It is what it is. While this is happening, you can get to 4 stacks of Flesh Eater. When we hit that 5th one, that's when we get to do some big damage. Should be coming up here soon. Ready for it here. Pop tendrils, pop everything. Hit that last one. Boom, done instantly. That instantly. There you go. So that's the whole build. I hope you like it. I'll see you in the next video.